Hey there. I'm just going to talk through a couple things on the syllabus here. And yeah, so the first thing is contact for me is the best way is definitely the email address Abrol at LPC, I'm sorry, Abrol.lpc at gmail.com. I do get that on my iPhone, so that's kind of nice and convenient. I try my best to get back right away to people. I have to say there are times where I get a high volume of email, and if you don't hear back from me right away, it's totally fine to write back a second time. And to be honest, if you need to even the third time, hopefully you won't need to, but it's not a problem. It's actually a help. So just in case that happens, I try to get to it all as soon as I can. So that's definitely the best email. That is my email address just for my online students. So I know everything there is from one of you guys. But do actually leave me the class that you're in. So I know what class this is from and make sure that I've got your name. Okay, so I also have a phone number, and that's a Skype number that I use again just for my online classes. And you are welcome to call. Sometimes I'll pick right up. You also can just leave a message. And if you do leave a message, leave me your name, and if you want me to call you back, your number. But at least make sure you leave your name, the class, and just kind of clearly what the issue is. So those are two pretty effective ways to get in touch with me. I should say one thing that I don't check for just like communication is the internal email on Blackboard called messages. I don't really check that. Yeah. So use the Abrol.lpc. You can even use the phone number, and that should be good. Skimming down here a little bit, I've got a link to my website called PhilWiki. As you'll see, I've got a lot of links to that website that are available to us on Blackboard. They're on course materials, so you don't really need to go on there and just kind of like click around, but you certainly can. There's lots on there, tons. Like if you just want to do it for your own philosophical edification, um, you're certainly welcome to. One thing I'll mention there is that at one point, I would have students like leave comments on the bottom of the pages for like a little something something kind of assignment. I don't do that anymore. So you'll see some student comments on there. Don't be thinking that you need to do that. None of our assignments are submitted there. So you'll link to there quite often, but that's just resources, information, and material. None of our assignments are turned in there, just so you know. Okay, you're welcome to leave a comment though if you want. No problem. Okay, assignments. Let's go down here. Um, we're going to have two exams. One is a midterm, one's a final. And the exams are taken on Blackboard and are as follows. There's about 30 short answer questions and two essay questions. The midterm will be like that, and the final will be like that. Same format, different material. Here, this is important. Since these are pretty large point totals, for the short answer questions on the test, there's a study guide. That study guide is important since it has a bunch of questions on it, lots really. I take all of the exam questions from the study guide questions, all of them. All basically exactly as they show up. I think, oh, I need to make an exam. Let's look at the study guide questions. And I just pick them from there. So that means if you can answer the study guide questions, you should be able to answer the exam questions. Both. Furthermore, I have notes for many of these chapters. For almost all, not quite all, I've got audio or video, kind of like this, that's basically me answering the questions, answering them. I try to give long-winded, maybe somewhat indirect answers because I don't want to just give it to you straight out of the can, like here's the answer to number one, let's move on to number two. I kind of talk through it. But between the reading, notes, and these little audio things, you should be able to prepare yourself for the exam by answering those study guide questions. That's really one of the main things for the whole class. So there you go. I might be adding a few questions to the study guide. There won't be a ton, but there might be a few. I'll let you know. And who knows, maybe I'll make a couple more of the audio things. Those are super helpful. They really are. Okay, there's also a brief list, I think like 5, list of essay questions. And I asked you to write on 2 of them. So check those out. I'm going to let you write on whichever 2 essay questions you want to. So the options that are up there now, you can really get started anytime. I mean, you have to do the reading and get into it, but you can do it. So, for those, write out your answers for the essay questions on your own word processing thing, and then just copy and paste it into the exam. There'll be a blank box where you put your answers. Copy and paste. So you got a backup. Want to have a backup for sure. Okay, discussion questions. Those are available for you now. There's a couple in the discussion forum, and we'll have like 3 to 5 before the midterm, 3 to 5 before the final. I'm thinking of 2 more already that I'm going to add. Maybe one on like sexual morality, and maybe one on, what's the other one? Free will and determinism. We'll see. It'd be kind of cool. So there you go. One thing I'll say about these, like they're kind of open-ended in a way. I give you directions. Make sure you do each thing. I really look and see like, okay, did you do each thing? The other thing I look for, I really like ask myself, how much real thought, reading, reflection, analysis, and intellectual labor is in this discussion submission? Is it a blurb? A lot of times you get blurbs, and I'm looking for more than a blurb. You get more out of it if you do more than a blurb. So, go for it. Get into it. At least get into some part of it. Okay. Then we've got these thought experiments. There's a link. I've got a list of them. I'm going to leave a separate video going over thought experiments. There's some stuff there now. Probably make another one just to kind of go over it again. Those are like little 2 to 3 page write-ups. There's 4 steps that I've got out there for you to take. And basically, your paper is just sectioned off into those. These are basically like hypothetical, pretty far out there scenarios that ask you to make a decision, make a judgment, make a choice, where there's supposed to be some kind of philosophical implication for whatever judgment, choice, or action you would take or answer you would give. So they're kind of like hypothetical scenarios that have philosophical implications to them. So we've got 2 of those. Those are going to be submitted in what's going to appear as like a little essay exam on course materials. It's just going to have one place. It's going to say test, but really it's just a place for you to copy and paste your write-up for the thought experiment as if it were just an essay test. So there you go. I'll have more details on that at the link, and there's plenty of stuff there now. So you can see the grading down below. I'm looking at the syllabus. It's pretty traditional. I do give consideration for improvement and stuff like that, but pretty much stick to that. Look at the general criteria that I've got for grading written work. There you go. Pretty straightforward, I think. In general, I'm looking for people to just get into the material and analyze it, get inside of it, look at it, take it apart and put it back together, engage with it, engage with the material at some level of kind of deep analysis. The deeper you can go, the better. I know it's an intro level course, but go for it, Take a look at course policies, especially with email and stuff, and dropping the class is your responsibility. Check those out. Okay. Talk to you later.